My name is Winter, and I'm writing to tell you my story with the little time I have left. When I was born, my mother and father were so glad to have me, and I was glad to have them. Everything went great until the day I turned 10. My father had been caught cheating on my mother long ago, and when she confronted him, all he did was yell and beat her. I hated him for leaving us like that, for not caring about what it would do to us as a family. Then I began hating my cruel mother. My father slept in another room, sneaking out to find his blonde whore named Melanie at night, while my mother sat in the kitchen crying and drowning her sorrows with my father's whiskey. It was pathetic. But that night, I was supposed to turn 10. I killed them. I had enough of them screaming and the sound of my father's fist hitting my mother's flesh. I went to the barn and grabbed my father's favorite wood-splitting axe. I walked into my mother's room, where they were arguing, and I swung. And I didn't stop until I had no strength left. I had nowhere to go and nothing to do, so I laid there, cuddling and holding what was left of them, letting my hair and body soak in the blood and tears. Eventually the sheriff came. He saw me, all alone, so he sent me to my closest relative's house. So that meant my Aunt Amy's, and Uncle Steve's house. Aunt Amy knew that my uncle looked at underage girls, so she tried making herself look younger. But she wouldn't say anything when she caught him looking through the cracks, trying to see me change. He made me sick, looking at underage girls like me. I was 12 the first time he fully showed his sickness to me. I was just getting out of the bath when he opened the door and stood in the doorway, just watching. I was young and embarrassed. I naturally covered myself. He told me not to. It made my stomach do flips. He had a hunger-disturbing look in his eyes. Something in his voice when he said that I knew. I knew that I had no choice but drop the covering, and from then on I had no choice. So he stood there watching with his wicked smile as I rushed to get dressed. I ran and locked myself in my room when I was finished dressing. I remember thinking, "You sick man, how dare you?" But I could think whatever I wanted. It wasn't going to change what was going to happen to me. I continued living there till I was 15. My aunt hated me like it was my fault her husband is a sick man, until the day he had never fully raped me. But before he threw me into that god-awful tower he did. He had his way with me like he had many other girls. I was in that tower for what felt like forever. 275 days after being thrown in that tower, I had the bastard child my uncle infected me with. The birth of the child was the day I died. Because of her, I lost my mind. I had no idea how I convinced myself not to kill her. For just another useless mouth to feed, I was withering away, starving, and for what? Some bastard child I never even wanted? I remember thinking that in the opposite corner from her, but it didn't truly matter. Sat in the tower just waiting for the day to come, the day that I could make him feel the embarrassment and the pain that he inflicted on me. Then my day finally came. It was November 12th, 19,000. I'm guessing it was almost midnight when I heard children's laughter outside. They were young, you could tell from the way they giggled. They finally got the rusty door open after breaking out the lock and chain. I shoved my uncle's spawn into the farthest part of the tower and whispered, "Don't you move from here. You hear me? They will kill you and they will enjoy it." And with that, I ran halfway down the first set of stairs. I hid in the dark corner right top of the second stairs. They come up, one at a time, all boys. The leader was the one holding the axe. I leaped down and yanked it from him and almost screamed with laughter. I swung. The others heard and ran to see, but I just kept swinging, and I kept swinging until the boys were just pieces on the tower floor. I walked for 2 days. It took 2 days walking to town. I had real food for the first time in years. The sun was the hardest. It burnt like a huge burning ball of fire in the sky. My ears hurt like they were on fire, so was my skin. Then, just in time for the bastard's birthday, I made it to my uncle's town. It was around supper time when I stood in the backyard holding my axe. Where was he? I almost screamed in agony and frustration. Before I could, I saw the movement in the corner of my eye. I ducked and ran into the shed as someone opened the back door, putting them in my view. It was him. I panicked. I ran into the shed as quietly as I could. What I saw next is why I did what I have been doing all these years. There were young girls, ages from 10 to 15, chained to walls. They all looked half dead. I hid and waited next to one that was already sitting on the floor. Only then did I realize. When the axe bumped her, she fell over. She was dead. Her skin bruised and red. She was just killed. I was examining this young girl when the door opened. He was holding a lamp, and I froze in terror. What if he could see me? But I stayed still. And then I lost it. I couldn't take it, so I jumped and I swung my axe, and he heard me coming. But all he had time for was a shaky breath before I hit him over the head. He was unconscious. I unhooked the girls and let them free. I had enough time to lift his unconscious body onto the wall with the contraptions that he had made. It was so pleasing seeing him hanging there. And I was done playing. He wished he was dead. I could see in his pathetic face. But then my aunt started calling him and walking towards the shed, so I waited for her. And as soon as she opened the door, I heard my favorite sound, the swoosh of my blade, then the sound of ripping flesh and blood hitting the floor. Then I turned. I beheaded the devil. He was dead. My uncle and my aunt were gone, and I had never been happier. I bathed, and I changed into my aunt's nightgowns, and I slept. I had hard work to do for the next while.